In 1983, a game by Doug Smith known as Lode was published by Broderbund Software and released for various microcomputers, including the IBM PC. Its simple controls, challenging puzzle platform gameplay, and the inclusion of an easy-to-use level editor soon made it a runaway hit. Naturally, a bevy of ports were made to capitalize on this success over the following years, including the Macintosh, Famicom NES, MSX, ZX Spectrum, Coin-Op Arcade, and Game Boy, to name a few. After a number of further sequels and spin-offs by Broderbund, IRIM, and Hudson Soft, the IP came into the possession of Sierra Online, one of the best-known and successful PC publishers of their time.
Phew! Sierra!
With Jeff Tunnel Productions developing and former Maxis and New World Computing alumni Jake Halter as director, work began on a remake of the original game. The resulting release in 1994 is nearly unsurpassed in its genre to this day and one of the greatest puzzle games for MS-DOS. As was often the case for DOS games of this era, Lode Runner supported multiple different sound cards and sound fonts, each with their own unique audio elements. Preferences are, of course, subjective, but for me, the Sound Canvas option is the best. The premise of The Legend Returns is simple. You are Jake Peril, a bounty hunter seeking riches and adventure. If you're playing multiplayer mode, there's a second player character as well, Wes Reckless. Armed with only your wits and a special digging blaster, you set off across a multitude of levels to collect all of the gold and escape intact. But beware, you will be beset by mad monks, eerie figures clad in bright red robes that will relentlessly chase you throughout the levels. And if they catch you, well... look, just keep away from them, alright? Fortunately, the monks themselves are fairly easy to evade or eliminate, at least on an individual basis. To begin with, the monks move slightly slower than the player. They also have limited AI, with little to no regard for potential hang-ups and dangers. This results in them often getting stuck on ladders and invariably falling into holes dug by the player. Falling into holes slows their pursuit as they pause for a few seconds before climbing back out. This also allows the player to use them as surfaces by walking on their heads. Even better, standing on top of a trapped monk prevents them from climbing out, which results in the ground crushing them when it reforms. But don't get too cocky, as monks will instantly respawn in a different part of the level after being defeated. At certain points in the game, a short humorous cutscene will play, introducing a new area and item for the player to pick up and use. These items often serve two roles: open new avenues for navigating levels, and provide an additional way to kill or incapacitate monks. Just be careful, as whatever kills monks will usually kill you as well. The first few levels allow the player to get acclimated to the mechanics and controls in a relatively danger-free environment. Using the numpad as default for Jake, and a QWERTY-like setup for Wes, the controls are simple and intuitive. The player learns the basics here, including navigating ladders and ropes, along with digging holes and paths in the ground with the blaster. It doesn't take long before the action ramps up, however, with more difficult levels to navigate that are nearly always populated by mad monks. It is this difficulty that can be a bone of contention for some players, with the game frequently expecting intimate knowledge of mechanics, optimal item usage, and near-perfect timing. I myself struggle with many of the game's levels, as I'm not the best at puzzle games, to put it charitably. This is alleviated, however, with a level select option from the get-go, allowing less talented players to jump into any part of the official level set and experience everything the game has to offer without having to resort to multiple save files or passwords. It's a nice feature that I wish more puzzle games had. Just like in the 1983 original, The Legend Returns has an easy-to-use point-and-click level editor contained within the game. While not capable of replicating everything in the official level set, the editor is nevertheless robust and very intuitive, allowing players to create and play their own custom levels within a matter of minutes. Naturally, this extends the replay value considerably, as the potential for more content is only limited by the toolset and the player's creativity. The Legend Returns remains nearly the pinnacle of the Lode Runner series to this day, with subsequent sequels, remakes, and spin-offs often not quite managing to recapture the same timeless mechanics or atmosphere. Does that make it the definitive entry in the series? No. A year later, an enhanced version called Lode Runner Online: The Mad Monk's Revenge was released, but only for Windows 95 and Mac OS 8. As a result, it can be difficult to get the game running properly on modern operating systems. There's also an impressive fan remake of The Mad Monk's Revenge developed from scratch by fans at mmr.quarkrobot.com. It's the best way to currently experience the game, boasting numerous quality of life improvements, bug fixes, and online multiplayer with up to 3 other players. Regardless of how you experience it, The Legend Returns and its immediate progeny remain some of the best in the puzzle genre and is well worth playing, even 30 years later.